Call me Britney Spears, guys, because oops, I did it again. I know, it's crazy, right? Third week into January, and I would have never imagined the year starting out the way it has with the big books coming in. That's not me boasting or bragging, maybe just a little bit, a little pride coming out, because you take pride in your collection when you get big things. A year ago, I would have never thought I'd be sitting here with this kind of stuff behind me, and the books that I've picked up recently. It's just wild, man. It's just wild. But I did pick up one more big book already. And I think I'm not going to say this is the last big book I'm getting this year. But I do think I'm going to cool it for a little while because we have Comic-Cons coming up. We're going to be at Lexington Con, and then 2 weeks later or a week later, we're going to have Huntsville Comic-Con. It's got to stop at some point so that I can build up funds for these Comic-Cons because I definitely want to have a big pickup at the Comic-Cons. This one here is one that I already have this book. It's on the wall behind me. You can see it. And I picked up a second copy. So I'm going to show it to you, and then I'll tell you why I picked up a separate copy. Before we get into the book, guys, I do want to remind you that Two Brothers Comics is teamed with Syndicate Comics and Collectibles in Marietta, Georgia to bring you an exclusive cover for Image's Supermassive. Their new one-shot, oversized issue with some first appearances of characters that they are looking to build a superhero universe around. You can check our website at twobrotherscomics.com. Link is in the description below. Reserve your copy now because they are going fast. Submariner issue number 1 in a CGC 6.0 with white pages. White pages. On a book from 1968, not too shabby. So you might be asking, Dustin, why would you pick up a second copy of this book? Well, let me tell you why I picked up a second copy of this book. King Namor, the Submariner. This guy's comic book royalty, all right? And until recently, I don't really feel like he's ever been given his due respect as a character. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about one of Marvel's very first comic book characters. All right, way back in Marvel Comics issue number 1 with the original Human Torch. Okay, this guy goes all the way back. I don't feel like the majority of people really put some respect on his name till recently with movie spec coming into play. Now we want to love Namor. Now we want to, give King Namor, the Submariner, his due. Well, I've been a fan of Namor and these books for a long time. I've always thought it was interesting that a character that debuted in Marvel Comics number 1 is not like one of the most beloved characters ever. Now I understand he hasn't always had the greatest runs in comics, and that's understandable. You can't force people to like something. I mean, you're talking to an anti-Spider-Man guy here. I feel like, the character's always been a little under the radar. And I've picked up a bunch of Namor stuff over the past couple of years. It's a character that I believe definitely will be prosperous as far as the comics themselves go in the future. And I'm not just talking about movie spec. I'm talking about in general. When you look back at the history of Marvel Comics, this guy is there in the beginning. All right? He was there in the beginning. In the beginning, there was Submariner and the Human Torch. So I've always really thought this was a character that was kind of undervalued and flown under the radar. And I just started picking them up. And I'm actually going to go a little more in depth into this with a series that I want to do where I talk about books that I'm investing my money in. It's not going to be speculation stuff. It's just going to be me telling you this is where I am putting my money and investing my money long term for the future. And so this is going to come into play a little later on, but I got a great deal on the book from my local comic shop, Syndicate Comics out in Marietta, Georgia. You know them, you love them. They've been great friends of ours for a while now, and they've been very, very big supporters of the channel, and they've given us tons of stuff to give to you guys for giveaways. So really excited about that, being able to get this book from them. They were actually able to strike a deal with another vendor that rents out a space from them. But without Syndicate Comics, man, this book wouldn't have hit the collection. So I'm really, really excited about that. I got it for a good deal. I was still a little worried because it was overpriced at the time, but I think it's going to be okay. The book's already right about GPA, so you guys know me. I get a little tense when I try to strike a deal and it doesn't go my way. I don't care if it's $1. I don't like being told no. I'm not going to sell it to you for that. It just kind of perturbs me a little bit. But I bought it anyway because I still felt like it was a good investment. And I was thinking to myself, well, this guy's willing to let this book sit on his shelf and lose the sale over $50. Am I willing to lose the book over $50? Not a book like this. Not a book like this. Because by the time I go for the return on investment on this book, if it's not, if $50 is gonna have any kind of play in that, and on whether or not I make money or lose money on it, well, then this is not the right book to buy anyway. So that's just how I looked at it. But I just wanted to show you guys the most recent book that I picked up. I consider Submariner #1 to be a big book. It's not as big as some things that I've shown recently, but it's still a really big deal, and I think it's a lot bigger deal than people really give it credit for. His first appearance is out of reach for probably 90% of comic book collectors. The Silver Age first appearance in Fantastic Four, unless you're Jim Mint, gonna drop by $15K and grab 2 of them, in a manila envelope, If you guys didn't watch that video, go check that out. But I wasn't really, I believe in Submariner, but I didn't really want to drop $5,000-$6,000 on one. So to me, this is one that I think will be affordable for more people going down the line. And that's kind of where I try to keep my investment books. Is I don't want to get something that's going to be so expensive that it's going to be hard to find someone that can afford it. I would rather have a lower grade book with a good return still, but something that will be made of cheap enough that more people can afford it, so that I'm not sitting on it as long. When I do decide it's time to get rid of it, it'll move quicker because more people can afford it. So I'm going to go into some of that stuff on the video series where I talk about books that I'm investing my money in. Again, it's not going to be me telling you guys what to buy, or talking about movie spec and TV spec and all that. It's just me telling you guys, hey, this is what I put my money into. This is where I think down the line I'm gonna get a good return on, and until then, they sure look pretty up there. So it's nice to have them. It's nice to be able to walk in and look at them. It makes you feel excited, makes you feel proud. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think. What do you think? Do you think Submariner, King Namor, do you think that this guy's been a little underrated, a little underloved over the years, or am I just crazy? You guys tell me. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about King Namor, the Submariner. Make sure you like the video if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed, and as always, guys, collect your way.